Long ago, in a village at the edge of a bamboo forest, there lived a poor old man. He was a peddler. He sold what he could find, mended what he could fix, and lived quietly on what little came his way. One cold autumn morning, he went into the forest to gather firewood. And there, caught fast in a trap left by a hunter, was a round little Tanuki. The Tanuki looked up at him with the most pitiful eyes the old man had ever seen. "Please," it said. And the old man was so startled to hear it speak that he nearly dropped his bundle. "Please, let me go. I have done nothing wrong. I was only looking for persimmons." The old man looked at the little creature for a long moment. Then he knelt down and opened the trap. The Tanuki shook itself free and stood up. It looked at the old man with bright eyes. "You are kind," it said. "I want to repay you." Before the old man could say a word, the Tanuki began to spin, faster and faster, until, with a soft pop, it had become a perfectly round iron tea kettle, sitting on the forest floor, steam rising gently from its lid. The old man stared. Then, slowly, he reached out and picked it up. The old man brought the kettle to the great temple in the next town. The head monk turned it over in his hands, admiring its perfect roundness and its fine iron surface. "A beautiful kettle," he said. "I will give you 3 gold coins for it." The old man, who had never held 3 gold coins at once in his life, agreed immediately. He walked home feeling very pleased with himself. The monks were very pleased with the new kettle. They placed it on the iron brazier in the main hall and heated water for the evening tea ceremony. The head monk poured the first cup and declared it the finest tea he had ever tasted. The young monks gathered around, all trying to have a look, all nodding vigorously. The kettle sat on its brazier, perfectly still, steam rising from its lid. Its eyes, if it had eyes, would have been shining. That night, when the monks had gone to sleep and the candles had been blown out, the temple hall was very quiet. The iron kettle sat alone on its brazier in the darkness. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, very slowly, a pair of round eyes opened on the surface of the kettle. Then a nose, then a wide, cheerful grin. Then 4 stubby legs appeared beneath it, and a striped tail uncurled from behind. The kettle stood up, shook itself, and looked around. The kettle walked. It trotted around the hall, sniffing at the corners, peering at the altar, sitting down in front of the Buddha statue as if paying its respects. Then it found the kitchen, where it ate 3 rice balls that had been left for the morning. Then it went back to the brazier, tucked its legs away, and by the time the head monk came in to light the morning fire, it was a perfectly ordinary kettle again. But the next morning, something was different. The rice balls were gone. There were small paw prints on the tatami. One of the young monks swore he had heard the sound of trotting in the night. The head monk examined the kettle very carefully. It looked like an ordinary kettle. It felt like an ordinary kettle. And yet, he was almost certain it winked at him. The head monk decided, reluctantly, that the temple did not need a haunted kettle. He sent a young monk to find the old man and return it, along with a polite note explaining that the kettle was, with respect, somewhat unusual. The old man received it with a bow. He carried it home, set it on his table and said, "Well, I suppose you had better come out then." The kettle shook, and the Tanuki appeared, grinning from ear to ear. "A tightrope show," said the Tanuki. The old man blinked. "You want to walk a tightrope?" "As a tea kettle," said the Tanuki cheerfully. "People have never seen a tea kettle walk a tightrope. They will pay to see it. You will be the showman. I will be the act." The old man thought about this for quite a long time. Then he said, "I will need a sign." Word spread quickly. A tea kettle, a real iron tea kettle, walks the tightrope. People came from the next village, then the next town. The old man made a stage from old planks. He hung a rope between two posts, and on that rope, to the amazement of everyone who saw it, the iron tea kettle walked and danced and turned somersaults, its 4 furry legs a blur, its tail spinning for balance, its face split in the widest, most delighted grin anyone had ever seen. The crowd went wild. Children climbed on their fathers' shoulders to see. Old women wept with laughter. Merchants threw coins. One very dignified official who had come to investigate the disturbance watched for 10 minutes and then quietly threw 3 gold coins himself and applauded very hard. The old man, collecting coins in his hat, could not stop smiling. The old man grew prosperous. He bought a proper house with a proper garden and a proper brazier to put the kettle on. Each evening the Tanuki made tea, real tea, the finest tea in its kettle form, and the two of them sat together by the fire. And people said that in that house, the tea was always the best in the province, because the kettle, as everyone knew, put its whole heart into it. This tale is called Bunbuku Chagama, the lucky tea kettle. In Japan, the Tanuki is one of the most beloved of all supernatural creatures, a shapeshifter, a trickster, and a bringer of good fortune. Unlike the fox, who is clever and dangerous, the Tanuki is cheerful and warm-hearted. His magic is not grand or frightening. It is the magic of gratitude, of generosity returned, and of finding joy in the most unexpected places. If you ever pass a shop in Japan and see a round ceramic Tanuki standing outside, belly out, hat on, sake bottle in hand, now you know a little more about who he is. Thank you for listening. May your evenings be warm and your tea always perfect.